We are, yeah, this is Civil Discourse now. I'm Mark Small. This is January 2nd, 2025. Our guest is David Kenyon. David is an engineer. David, we were talking about the economy and philosophers and all sorts of stuff before. And you said you wanted to quote somebody. What was that?
Yeah, so one of the channels I follow on YouTube is Sublation Media. And one of its longtime contributors is a sociologist, Ashley Frawley. And the quote that I love from her is, in the absence of political progress, movements turn mystical. Yeah,
I've got to say my favorite graffiti I ever read was in a restroom in Las Vegas, New Mexico in 1975, and it was capitalism is the system of man exploiting man. Communism is the other way around.
Yeah.
So, and we were talking about how things in the economy aren't necessarily all that good, and we're talking about centralization of wealth or consolidation in a few hands.
Right. Yeah. And really, I think, we can trace our trajectory back to the Reagan era, right, where neo-liberalism began. Essentially,
when you say neoliberalism, a lot of people sit there and go like, well, liberals, those are like left-wing people, and that's not really an accurate use of the term.
Yeah, this term is really about liberal democracy with a small d, and really it's shifting the focus of what the government would do, right? Instead of being the New Deal sort of government that would ensure that we have protections and some regulation of the economy. The idea of neoliberalism is to start to reverse that trend, give tax cuts to corporations and the wealthy, and start to deregulate. Carter kind of started that with things like the deregulation of airlines, but Reagan really put it on steroids. And then by the time that Bill Clinton came on the scene, the Democrats had really adopted that program as well. And what we're seeing now is really the end stages of neoliberalism. And when
people they'll look at the Reagan era, they'll say like, well, the economy done real good with Ronald Reagan, ha ha ha. But it's like there were two reasons the economy did well in the 80s. One was we provided both sides in a war between two petroleum producing countries, Iran and Iraq, with either intelligence or weapons. So they keep on killing each other, and the price of oil plummeted. And we have an oil-based economy at the time. And still, the second was that Jimmy Carter tightened up the money supply so that there was a recession like in 80 to 82 that we were going through.
Yeah.
That had to happen. And he got blamed for stuff on that. But the benefits went to Reagan, who really didn't do that much for the people.
Yeah, and I think that's we see some of this, in the last 4 years too with Biden, in the sense that the metrics look great, but it doesn't translate to what people are feeling in the streets or in the grocery store or trying to pay rent. It's a system that really redirects wealth upward. And
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just finishing the thought.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, people say, well, it's really bad and everything when they're looking around. I don't think people understand how bad it can be and how bad it can go. Because if people are talking about there's going to be a depression, no, they don't know what a real depression is, or there could be a civil war. They don't know what a civil war is. And in the United States, the only real warfare on any large scale we've had on this continent was in the Civil War in 1861 to 65. That wasn't a war. That was a rebellion. and that had to be a rebellion put down, and that was because we had slavery. But that devastated this country, and right. You would have people. I blogged about that yesterday, talking about civil wars. All the people, they've been stockpiling guns for what? Trying to buy freedom or shoot their neighbor.
Yeah, the talk of civil war. I think most people don't really understand what that world would look like. I think we're so interdependent upon each other. If society were to break down, we wouldn't have food on the shelves, and there wouldn't be medicines and pharmacies, and hospitals would stop functioning. It's not anything that we should really be talking about, because I think the people that talk about civil war really have no idea of what they're promoting, and people who cheer it on should really think twice about the reality of what that would look like.
Well, when you're talking about putting more money into fewer hands, and that's kind of been one theme we've been discussing here for a little bit.
Yeah,
that's one thing that's infected the corporate mindset. Is more and more. Whereas George Westinghouse took the view that his corporation was there to improve society, and he was there to make a profit, but he also wanted to provide for the people who worked for the corporation and for the community that they were in. How did we get so off of that?
Yeah, I don't know, but I think there's some cultural dimension to this. So if we look at more of a cultural root of really what ends up being an inhumane direction, our values praise systems being efficient and components being disposable. We don't talk about things being durable or repairable anymore. It's just when your iPhone's battery no longer works, what do? Well, you give it back to the store, or you throw it in the trash. You don't really go to a repair store to have it upgraded, right? So things like craftsmanship and character should matter, but for most people they really don't. We see it in our household products, the gadgets we purchase, even places where many people eat, like McDonald's. They've just become these gray boxes, and they're focused on efficiency. And it's just this soulless sort of consumerism that we're in.
Well, if you're looking though, and that goes to like a local economy, and everybody likes going to talking about how that they get good deals, this or that. Two big corporations that have gutted local economies in that way are Walmart and Amazon.
Yeah,
I mean, those are huge. And when you have an Amazon in the mail, or you've got the Walmart superstore, kills a small town square. They just do. And then you've got to ask, well, okay, then how do we, you can't really effectively compete economically with those people. And they end up operating their companies, if people don't know this already. They don't worry about providing them with benefits. Walmart has directions for their employees how to apply for welfare.
right.
How to apply for Medicaid and everything, because they're putting that load on us, and yet people vote for them.
Yeah, and at the same time, companies like Walmart are lobbying to have those social programs cut from the budget. It's these attitudes about systems and things that have developed have really transferred over to how we treat people. And it's really sad.
It goes to the very core of what, and when you're talking about values, it's is a fictional entity, and that is a corporation, How is it held to a higher value in the way people view things than their fellow people? And corporations are not people, folks.
Contrary to
David,
what Mitt Romney would say, right?
yeah. David, this has been really fun this evening. I hope you'll be back soon so that we
Okay.
can discuss this further. After January 20th, we might not be able to because the First Amendment might very well be canceled. But if they try to do that, I'll try to open the show up from whatever camp it is to which they assign me. And it's like I'm not real optimistic about that. David, thank you very much. It's Civil Discourse.
Welcome,
Now,
Mark.
have a good one.
Thank you.